A pickup truck ran head-on into a semi-truck. Pulled up to here maybe about half an hour ago, and I've moved maybe a total of about 4 or maybe 5 car lengths. The officer that was involved gave a lot of warning. This smoothie's already blended really well. I just wanted to give you a look at what we're blending it on. They'll dispose of all these fireworks in this dumpster right here. Now again, these are Oregon legal fireworks that we're talking about. Female suspect who is still at large at this time. See through the smoke, find people, and find hot spots on the ground. It chips away at windshields little by little, like this one in my own personal car. You can hear some eruption of applause. Provide more security on their property and hopefully get some answers as to what attacked their animals. These firefighters that are rappelling down behind me do these proficiency tests every week.
This morning, the Rogue Valley Airport swarmed with law enforcement and emergency vehicles after a plane crash.
That was just a drill, complete with makeup that some of our viewers might find a bit graphic. Just a note there. News 10's Mike Marut shows us how emergency response would work if there were an actual plane crash.
We do have an aircraft that was crashed. We have multiple fires.
Scanner traffic flooded with calls for an airplane emergency. Fires on the tarmac, people on the ground.
6 souls have been transported to Rogue Regional Medical Center.
But none of it was real.
The Rogue Valley International Medford Airport is conducting a simulated mass casualty exercise.
Well, they gave us these cards, and my injury is that 23% of my body is burned, and I have a closed head injury and breathing problems, so I'm kind of excited.
Mine is I'm burned all over my shoulder and I have lacerations on my arm.
Victims with varying injuries litter the tarmac and the plane itself.
We also have controllers which actually introduce challenges.
Some of those challenges included having fugitives escape custody in the plane. This drill happens every 3 years, testing emergency response in the event of a real crash.
Are there improvements that can be made on the airport emergency plan? And that's what we're trying to do.
Crews practice with a Learjet, but it's not the kind of plane they were training for. The simulation was supposed to be for a regional passenger jet that comes in and out of Medford every day. Either way, it's hands-on training for emergency responders and practice the Federal Aviation Administration requires.
It more fully evaluates what would happen in a real-life event.
With your connection to the Rogue Valley Airport, Mike Marut, News 10.
Those evaluating the training say the only major hiccups were internal communication and traffic on the tarmac. The fact Medford had a small aircraft crash into a neighborhood last weekend had no bearing on this drill taking place.
Unfortunately, passed away just a little over a year ago.
Debbie Wisnant visits her husband weekly.
I do miss him. It's what I enjoy doing the most. And that's just not only, like I said, not only honoring my husband, honoring all vets.
She visits her husband because she can talk to him, even though he's not physically there to respond.
I talked to him about what's going on with his son, the grandkids, me. It's hard. Or sometimes I just come out and just sit here quietly. Just knowing that I'm here with him.
She's part of the Old Guard Riders who honor veterans with flag lines and motorcycle rides. After she finished setting up for the ceremony, Army veteran Rachel Waters arrived to honor her husband.
This is actually the first year I've come out for Memorial Day.
Her husband Casey died 10 years ago from cancer after being exposed to depleted uranium while in Iraq. Tuesday would have been their 15th anniversary.
It's hard. I should have never gotten married Memorial Day weekend. But to come here today and see everybody standing up and remembering soldiers, it's absolutely incredible.
Every year, though, it's hard for Rachel.
It's been quite difficult, especially with the triad of Memorial Day, my wedding anniversary, and his death within a month of each other.
But every year, both women make an effort to honor their husbands, especially on this weekend. With their connection to Memorial Day, Mike Marut, News 10. The boil water advisory in Medford has been lifted. We first told you about a water main break Monday night, forcing residents to boil their water in the immediate area. It affected more than 60 addresses near Johnson and Corona Avenues. The break itself happened right next to Wilson Elementary School. At first, the school was not on the list of affected addresses. It was only after the school called the Medford Water Commission that the water maintenance supervisor added the building to the list. I explained why the water main next to the school did not initially trigger a warning for the building and how the school handled the issue. Hundreds of kids could not drink from the water fountains at Wilson Elementary School on Tuesday.
We brought in 3 different pallets of bottled water, so we have hundreds of cases of water that we're serving to our students and our kids to make sure that they're getting good water, fresh water.
The water main break happened here, down the block from the school. Medford Water Commission says the main that broke lowered water pressure over at Wilson Elementary.
Water went down to a trickle and the toilets weren't flushing properly.
Some neighbors noticed a difference. Others got this notice but didn't actually see a change.
I didn't accept water running in the curb and backing up.
Normally, this door has kitchen staff coming out of Wilson Elementary School. But with the boil water advisory in effect this Tuesday morning, meals that were prepared at North Medford High School are going into Wilson to help out feeding students here at the school.
All of our fountains are taped up or roped off or signed off. Every classroom has the water that they're going to need for all their kids.
Fortunately, everything is back to normal for the school and its neighbors now.
We always keep supplied. We drink a lot of water.
The cast iron pipe broke initially due to movement in the ground. Fortunately, tests by the Medford Water Commission came back showing no chemicals or bacteria were in the water.
1 year ago, a storm swept through southern Oregon to truly kick off fire season. Thousands of acres burned and homes evacuated from blazes like the Klondike Fire and Taylor Creek Fire.
I'll take you back 1 year ago to what was happening behind the scenes as lightning struck.
It's like shattering a window.
It escalated pretty quickly.
There's 56 different fires here that we're watching at the same time.
U.S. Forest Service, Oregon Department of Forestry, and National Weather Service were buzzing last year as lightning cracked across Jackson and Josephine County.
In order to make it all the way to the surface from high up, they've got to pack some serious punch.
The weather report from the day before, July 14th, predicted some possibly dry storms, but not to the extent southern Oregon saw.
Prior to this event in July, it just got really hot, by July standards.
For Oregon Department of Forestry, it was all hands on deck.
They were calling them in as fast as they were finding them.
Firefighter Marcus Havnier has been with ODF for 10 years. Last year, he says, was one of the most memorable.
That was a really unique storm. I mean, between Josephine County and Jackson County, I mean, you looked on the radar and it was like a big horseshoe, coming across the whole thing.
Inside Dispatch, the same story. Normally, they have 5 dispatchers rotating, but when fire season hit last year, everybody got called in.
As you're getting those calls, you're trying to allocate your resources as best as you can, and then trying to order as many as you can while the calls keep coming in.
And ODF personnel spotting smoke behind the scenes saw 56 different smokestacks at the exact same time, something they've never seen before.
92 smokes that we reported over that 3-day period. 92. 31 of those were first initial detections by us.
You turn the corner and you're looking up the canyon and there's smoke after smoke after smoke.
According to U.S. Forest Service, there were 180 fires started from that lightning storm. Most were put out quickly, but a handful got out of hand. Tonight, on the anniversary of this storm, I'll share the stories of those who evacuated, fearing for their lives, livelihoods, and homes. Tonight on News 10 at 6 and tomorrow on News 10. Good morning.